So the first question is actually about Des, because I was assuming I'm talking to Des.
Yeah.
So Des said in an interview with Tattoo Mag that he considers your music from the outside as a metal fan. So is there anybody outside of the band you chat with if new material is any good or anything, or is it just the band?
Yeah, I have a few friends that I trust that I send the music to, but sometimes even before I send to Des just to get an opinion. But I think like literally I can only think of one friend that I do that with, and other people ask. I usually say no, and but yeah, my roommate's a metalhead. You know, his name's Patrick Kennison. He plays in Lita Ford's band, so you know, I'll definitely play it for him because he's right there, living in the next room next to me. But yeah, it's usually just within the band. Me on this last record, it was just me, Neil, and Austin. So I sent that. They always had all the songs on them all the time. And then our producer Mark, as we were writing, I would send the songs to Mark so he could listen to them. Yeah, then we're all happy. That's when everyone, all four of us, hear the music. That's when I send it to Des and go, okay, I'm pretty sure it's done, and then he'll start writing lyrics to it.
Okay, you said they say no. That means they say it's not good, or they say they won't have an opinion on that.
Usually not like a whole song or anything that someone likes, and I think a lot of times if there's, on this record anyway, there wasn't really a whole lot of moments where it was like, no, it's no good. I mean, there's definitely moments where people say like, well, we can do that better. And a lot of the times this is why I work so well with Austin and Neil, and we get along so well, is that we kind of read each other's minds, and we didn't get into one single argument making this record, and I mean, it's definitely the most fun I've ever had doing a record. But a lot of times, I'm very indecisive with my writing. Like, okay, should I do this, or this? Like, I like this better. And Neil was a big help. It's like, no, that one's better. Or like, dude, you're crazy. It's fine. Just leave it. It doesn't need to be improved anymore. So yeah, I need a reassurance from someone that another musical entity that I trust and I respect.
Okay. Again, let's talk about the new album. It's called Trust No One, and I have the impression that the lyrics revolve about one huge argument maybe you had. I don't know. It seems like each song is revolving about more or less the same thing. So is that true, or is it just mine?
Des wanted a theme based around the record, and I don't really. I try not to talk about the lyrics. I mean, it'd be like Des talking about how I write guitar riffs. He'd be the best person to ask the question. But as much as I can tell you, I did an interview with Des yesterday, at Vakken, where it was basically the same question, like, why trust no one? And I remember his response being that it isn't about just one person. It isn't about previous members of the band. It's more about something else, and I don't think he would say.
So it's more of a general thing.
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
Okay.
It's basically saying be careful.
So I actually have another lyrics question.
Okay, yeah, I'll do my best.
So, do you know how Des is writing the lyrics? So is it always about just telling stories, or is it influenced by life as it happens?
I've never been there. I mean, I have been there in the past, like on The Fury of Our Maker's Hand, Last Kind Words, and Beast. No, actually, at Beast I wasn't. But those two records, and I was just new to the band. I was there while Des was writing lyrics because we were all at the same studio living there together for 2 months. But this last record, I wasn't around while he was doing it, but I know he's got his own little studio in his house where his vocal booth is, and he's vibed it out. It's very dark and lots of Halloween decorations. illustrations that he keeps up all year round. And he just likes to lock himself in there, and he'll write until like 5 in the morning. And, you know, to the point where, you know, his wife is upstairs sleeping and he's downstairs sleeping in the studio because he just likes to lock himself away. And I'm very much the same. Like when I start writing, and like Des does too, I have to turn my phone off and to make sure my email isn't running anywhere, you know, because I'll get easily distracted. And I think Des is very much the same way. You know, we both need solitude when we're writing.
Okay. Did you ever work as a band on a song over and over again until you finally just threw it away and never looked at it again?
Yeah, there was a song way back in the day, I think when we were working on, I want to say either Last Kind Words or Pray for Villains, where John Berkland and Jeff Kendrick, we still joke around about this when I talk to them to this day, that the two of them had worked out a song in our rehearsal studio in Santa Barbara, and I was 2 hours south, and just south of LA, where I was living at the time. And they're like, dude, we have this awesome song. And so we're sitting there, and you know, they would play one of the riffs, and I'd program drums to it. Then he would play another one, the next riff, and I would program drums to it. You know, and this is how we do the demoing process. And it's just, after a while, I was like, dude, how many riffs do you have in this song? And I wasn't really feeling it, but you know, I was just like, okay, I'll keep an open mind about it and see what happens. And we finished it that day. It took all day to do. And I gave a CD to John, and they were driving back to Santa Barbara, and he calls me from the car. He's like, dude, this song totally fucking sucks. And I was like, well, you know, I can't disagree with you there. So yeah, it has happened. And I don't think we ever used any riff from that song. There were a lot of good riffs. It just, I don't know, it just kind of wasn't really, I think it was more in the structure than anything. But never ended up using any of those riffs from that song. It completely got thrown away.
Talking about the music, on Trust No One, I have the feeling that, of course, each song has its own character and is unique for itself, but somehow every song on the album has the same vibe, I feel. Is it a concept, or did you just wrote it in one session, or what is behind that?
I did a lot more writing on this record than any other record, and that's probably where the vibe comes from, because, you know, me, John Miller, originally it was more John Miller and John Berkland as the main songwriters in the band, and then when I came in, they let me write a little bit, and as time went on, I wrote a little bit more. And it, like, by Pray for Villains, you know, even Jeff wrote a whole song on that record too, I believe. And so Devil Driver in the past has had a lot of different writers and a lot of different styles put into one. And, you know, by Beast it was more just me, Kendrick, and Berkland, and then by Winter Kills it was mostly just me and Berkland. And then they decided to leave the band, and so now you have it was kind of me setting the pace for a lot of the songs because the other guys were new, and they're definitely going to be writing more on the next records because we had so much fun, and I think they have a lot of great ideas, but it was most of the writing, you know, guitar-wise was, I think I wrote like 60-70% of it. And the one song, I can't, that Austin wrote, it's, I can't remember the name of it right now, but the working title was Pinner. But there's a song on the record that sounds distinctly different, and it's because it was written by Austin.
Okay, I just have one final question, and that is, what would your advice be for young bands or new bands?
I don't want to discourage people from becoming musicians and artists, but it's definitely getting a lot harder. And it's gotten so hard in the music industry for new bands to make a living out of it. Honestly, it's kind of sad that I ran out of advice.
Okay, did you feel that with Devil Driver as well?
No, I feel very fortunate with Devil Driver. I mean, our heads are way above water, and it's been 14 years and people are still coming to our shows, and I'm eternally grateful for that. And most days I wake up and I can't believe the life that I have. I mean, it's pretty awesome. But there's really, I would say the best thing too is people that are in bands together that don't get along will probably kill a band quicker than anything. And if you guys can't talk things through and if you're arguing even before you go out on tour, something has to happen. One of you's got to leave the band. And I would say figure out how you're going to structure things, like who's going to be the writer, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, and so when you get to the point when you do get a record deal and you have to, divide up publishing and whatnot amongst members, like who wrote who wrote what. I mean, it's you have to be able to accomplish that, which can be a very touchy subject in a very calm manner. So I would say find people that you can work with, that you can get along with, and you can have hard conversations without getting angry. I think that is a big part of being a successful band.
Okay, thanks a lot for this interview.
No problem.